You know, many people, when they think about getting a multi-needle, or they get a multi-needle, they kind of worried, oh, how can I handle the 6 threads? And how do I do the common everyday embroideries that I want to do? Is there anything special to do on a multi-needle? Well, yes, there are. It's really simple, but let's go through some of those today. Let's talk about threading, tension, special threads, special projects, all kinds of stuff. I'm Cathy, this is Sewing Tech Talk. Let's dive into the multi-needle world. So now in multi-needles, I know when I've taught multi-needle getting to know your machine classes, a lot of people come in and they probably are coming from an embroidery machine already, but managing 6 different threads, well, that kind of puts them back a little bit. It's really pretty simple. So threading, a little bit different. Handling the tension, just a little bit different. And let's get the threads where we want them to be on the machine. So first time you open up your machine and you thread it, the thread path is clearly marked on the machine. And that's going to take you a few minutes. Every time you rethread after that though, what you basically do is tie the new thread on, break the old, pull it on through. The machine has a needle threader and it's going to thread all of the different needles. Now after you get it all threaded, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check and make sure that the thread that you've chosen, you have good tension on that. And the tension on a multi-needle is different than it is on your regular flatbed machine. It's a roller tension. That's more of a professional tension a little bit because the thread wraps around this knob, and when the thread stops moving, breaks, gets snagged, the machine stops really quickly. So when you're working with a multi-needle, you're going to want to do a tension test just to make sure. And it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, just like on a regular machine. But how do we know how each one of these bars or needles is going to give us the tension that we want? Well, there is a built-in design on the machine, and I've already done that for the threads that I put on there, and it looks like the 6 bars right here. If this was a 10 needle machine, I would have 10 bars right here. And you simply run this design, it's built into the machine, and it's going to show you the tension for each one of these different threads. Now I've gone ahead and put a metallic thread on, and I put a thread that's kind of a different kind of a thread for me. It's an older rayon thread, and I wanted to see if it would work on the machine. It has, but I might need to adjust the tension on that. How do I know? Well, I ran the test, and let me show you what that test is supposed to look like. I've stitched out the 6 bars, just like basically on like a scrap of fabric, but you want to do a test. So here are the 6 bars, and you can see there's my metallic right down in here. Here's that green thread, and I can see white thread coming up on the top. Let me show you what perfect tension looks like. When I turn it around to the back, you can see that on each side of this bar, I have just a little bit of thread coming to the one side. Metallic, I got lucky, it's perfect. But on the green thread, it's not all the way to the side. So if I want to continue to use this thread, I'm probably going to want to adjust the tension on it, or I can simply choose to use a different one of my green threads, and I wouldn't have to adjust it at all. Let me show you where this design lives in the machine. So we're going to come back home. Okay. Now if you look on the machine under here, you can see that here is the test right here. If I touch that, I have that, and I also have a little flower. That little flower is used in the tutorial, in the quick reference, not the quick reference size, the instruction and operation guide that comes with the machine. They take you some of the things that I'm actually going to be talking with today, and they use this little flower to practice with. So it's a quick, fast, and easy little flower, less than 6 colors, but it's something that you can practice with. So if I wanted to do my tension test, I touch that. I run it just like any other embroidery design, and it's really fast. So if you want to check how your thread's going to work in the machine, if you want to check the tension that you might want to adjust for any particular project, it only takes a few minutes to run that test. So that's checking the one thing to think about. If you do adjust the tension bars up here, the knobs, there's also a pre-tension knob right up on here. I have a handout for you, and in the handout I go through when you might want to adjust the tension, which one you do at what time. So go out and get the handout. It's usually in the description in blue. That's where this handout and all my other handouts are. We're going to be covering a lot today, so it's all listed there in the handout for you to you know, reference back to, because you might not want to do all the special things the machine does at one time, and you might need a reference. So okay, so let's kind of explore some of the things that this machine can do, because it can do some pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to come home. I've already done my little test. Now, when you bring up a design, you're going to go through 3 different screens to get to where you can embroider. So let's just pick up any kind of a design. Let's pick up a poinsettia. Okay? So now, there's my design. When I hit set, I come to what's called the embroidery edit screen. And here I can do a whole bunch of fun stuff. I can mirror image. I can change the size of it. In this machine, you can go up 200% and down to 60%. That's pretty cool. I can multiply the design by adding extra ones, and I can make like a border with that. That's kind of cool. Okay, I can make this into an automatic applique, which is pretty fun. Why would I do that? Well, maybe I have some fabric that does not want to be embroidered on. I may want to put this on a shoe or something like that. I can make an automatic applique for something that might not be embroiderable too much. I wonder, I could probably I could make it fusible and put it on wood. That's another sewing tech talk. So I can do that, and I can do some other fun stuff that's really kind of fun as well. Oh, I can change the color, which is pretty simple, and this has a color visualizer, which means I can ask the machine to give me some suggestions. I can say, just show me some fun stuff, and it's going to show me lots of different options for this poinsettia. I don't think I like any of them. I'm going to stick with what I got. Now, one thing that I think is really fun on this machine, and it's something that, oops, okay, here we go. Now we're back to the embroidery edit screen. Now, I have this, and this is automatic stippling to go around the outside edge of the machine. If I want to use this poinsettia on a quilt block. So it can give me stippling in the background, but it can also give me, I hope you can see, echo quilting. Oh my gosh. Now this feature is something, I could be wrong, but I think this feature is also only available on the other top of the line machines in the lineup. That could change, but I think this is really beautiful. And of course I can tell the machine exactly which hoop I'm using, and it's going to fill up that hoop with echo quilting. I think the echo quilting is really beautiful. Okay, so I can do all kinds of stuff on the embroidery edit screen, but in the next screen I can do some really cool stuff. So I'm going to go edit in, and now I've gone to the embroidery settings page. Now this page, I have some different selections, and they're all about how I'm stitching out the design. And previously I've changed the design around, but now let's tell the machine how we're going to stitch it. So if I touch this, it's automatically going to give me a basting box around the design. If I want to float a design and put it on there, I may not want that. So just by touching it, it removes it. If I want to stitch the design in all one color, I might not like that, but you might. Now if I have multiple designs on the screen and I touch this box, it's going to group and color sort the different colors. Now I know it's a multi-needle machine and it's going to go through all of each of the different colors, but if you color sort and it doesn't have to move between each individual color, your design's going to have a quicker run time. So that's something. Now this box up here, now that's the one I really am excited about. So when I touch that, what I can do is I can tell the machine to stop between different colors, or don't stitch some of these colors, which I think is pretty cool. So say for example this was an in the hoop project and I need to stop the machine after a certain color to insert some fabric or a zipper. Well, all I have to do is touch the color where I want it to stop. I touch the hand and that's going to tell the machine stitch through these first 3 colors and then stop, so I can do some sort of a function with the machine. What's also cool is I have a feature down here that I can tell the machine to bring the hoop forward so I can get in there to do some stuff for doing an in the hoop project. Once again, it talks about all of that in your handout. So you can do an in the hoop project in the machine, and it's pretty simple. Just remember to put your hands up to tell the machine, stop here. No, I really don't want that. But here's the feature I really like. I can tell the machine to not stitch a particular color in the design. So if I touch the little pine leaves here and I don't want them, I simply touch no sew and the machine is not going to touch those. Oh my gosh, I have some stems left. I touch that. I don't want it to stitch that other. Now I have just my poinsettia. Now the other colors were not deleted, they're just not going to be sewn. So I haven't altered my design at all. I'm just not going to stitch it. If I did want to permanently delete those stitches, so I always have a poinsettia flower design, without that, I'd have to do that in software. But they're still there. They're just hiding behind a curtain. So let's leave it that way and say okay. Now, I also have placement for this design. If I hoop it wrong on this machine, I have a guide light, and that starts the guide light right there. And I can tell the machine, I want you to put this in the hoop. I've hooped it wrong. I'd like you to stitch it right. It's a pretty simple process. I touch the little X, and I can tell the machine any different part that I want to match this poinsettia to. I'm okay doing the center. So when I touch next, I'm actually going to tell the machine also what's my other direction that I want to use to place the design. So I want to use the top line because that's how I have my X drawn on my fabric. When I go next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the crosshairs to the center position using the arrow keys. So I'm going to move it over. Now it's moving pretty slow, but I can move it super slow or faster if I want to. So remember, I'm just putting in that center point. Pretty easy. Now let's do the other point. I simply hit next, and the machine's going to walk me through the process. It's going to show me where that second point is, and I'm simply going to use my keys to move the crosshairs so that it's on the top of the line. When I hit set, it's moved my design. That's pretty neat, right? So I have different controls to place the design, but I'm going to do one of the parts of this design in a metallic thread. And metallic threads, well, metallic threads are kind of special. For all the manufacturers, I'm going to defend them right now. It's really challenging to make a metallic thread. It's a core with a thread wrapped around it. So they are a little bit fragile. They try as hard as they can to make them good, but you have to treat them a little bit special. But I don't want, and I on a machine like this, I'm going to want to stitch them slower. I'm going to want to put in a different needle. I have all kinds of considerations that I want to do. But you know, when I go to embroidery, I'd like to stitch my design at full speed, except for that metallic. And I can totally do that. So let's go back and let's check how we can fix that. So I'm going to go back to my embroidery settings page. Yes. Now, when I'm here, I can go in and I can tell the machine that I want the metallic thread, which I have on needle position 5, I want that to be treated special. So I'm going to have to go into my settings page for that. Once I'm there, I can go through and I can find the page where I can do the needle attribute settings. It's not that big a deal. It's just on page 3 of the settings. Now this page does not come up unless you are on that one page that I came there. If I was in the embroidery edit screen, I couldn't get here. I know it's kind of behind a secret curtain, but once you know where it is, check the handout and I'll remind you where you need to go. But once you know where it is, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so now on needle number 5 is where I have my gold. Now I'm going to tell the machine that on needle number 5 I always have this gold color. Okay, so I'm going to find a gold color, or am I? What happens is when you're threading the machine and you're going into embroidery on a multi-needle machine, it will always put the identical thread color on the same spool when it changes from design to design. But the key word in that sentence was identical. If the thread is not identical, it's going to go, oh, it's a different thread. It doesn't know. So what I want to do is I want to make this color into a color I can find again. And then I'm going to change the center of that poinsettia to my special color. Don't worry if this sounds confusing. It's all in your handout. So I know where a special color is. I'm going to go to a different brand of thread. Embroidery is kind of the standard thread way back in the annals of time when embroidery first came out. And here's all my different colors. Not all of them. I'm going to go down to the very end. Now I have some special colors down here, and I'm going to choose one of those. These are basically colors that you would use for doing an embroidery applique, but it's different than all the other golds that I've seen. So I'm going to change it to that. And the machine just knows it as a color. It doesn't care if it's special. So I'm going to say that's the color that I want. Now that I've chosen a color, if you look down here, you can see I can hit the anchor. And that says if a design comes up with that color, it's always going to put it on that needle. Now, something else came up that's pretty special. A speed came up. So I can tell the machine whenever you're stitching this color on that needle, on any design that has it, I want you to stitch it really slow. 400 stitches a minute, as slow as the machine goes. Now the rest of the design will stitch fast, but this one color, this one metallic thread, my little princess of a thread, she'll stitch nice and slow. So, okay. Now, I've changed that one color, right? So I'm going to go back to the edit screen. I'm going to go to change my color. I'm going to find that center, and I easily know where this color is. I don't have to guess which gold it is. I'm going to go back to embroidery, go to the end. I know it's that. See how easy that was? It was super simple to find that identical color. And I'm going to say, okay. Now when I go in, the machine's not only going to put that color on color spool number 5, but it's also going to stitch it slow when I go. Now, it's a metallic thread. There might be a couple other things I might want to do. So let's head on back to settings and see if there's something else I can do to make sure this stitch runs just a little bit better. So we're going to go back to settings, and if you can look through all the different things that you can change on your machine, some things might be appropriate for a metallic thread. Let me show you. When the machine is stitching, you can ask the machine to not stitch any very small stitches. You know, little tiny stitches can sometimes cause the machine to break thread. It can slow your machine down. So I can tell it I want to delete stitches of a certain size, and it will automatically remove those from the design. You don't even have to know about it. I can tell the machine to cut the thread at different times. That's pretty cool. I can actually tell the machine that when you trim it, leave an extra long tail when you trim it. I think that might be beneficial with my metallic thread. And I can tell the machine to start out slow if I want to. I start out high if I want to, or accelerate at a standard speed. I think standard would be good. If I was really rocking out, I would use that high speed. And let's see if there's anything else. I've already locked my thread. I'm good to go. I don't think I have anything else I need to do. I think we're set. Okay, now let's see if my magic changes have stuck when I go to embroidery. There's embroidery. Now notice it put that color. It looks goofy, It looks goofy, right? But I know it's going to be that metallic thread. So I've already placed it. I have all my let's make sure I have my threads in the right spot. And I don't. So let's check that out. Now I know I want my pink, my red color. It's on spool number 3. But the pink that I'm going to use, well, it thinks it's supposed to be on spool number 1. And I don't have it there. I could rethread, but I really don't want to. So all I have to do is touch that spool, touch that color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the magic wand. All I have to do is touch that and tell the machine I want this color to be on color number 3. Nope. I want this color to be color number 3. And it automatically changed it to spool number 3. I want OK. I want this one. I really want that one to be spool number 4. I'll get it straight. And now I can go ahead and stitch out my design. So you can easily place it, you can take away parts of it, you can tell it that parts of this design, well, they're special, and treat that thread special. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this out. So I finished my test poinsettia and it turned out pretty cool. That metallic thread, it embroidered like a champ. So here is my little poinsettia and the metallic thread's beautiful. The back, the tension came out perfect. So I might be ready to do my holiday tablecloth. But I got to thinking while this was stitching out, what if I wanted to do the center of my tablecloth big? There's 3 other coordinating designs to this poinsettia. Well, can I? Well, the machine will increase the design up to 200%. But what if I want to go big, right, and make a statement? So let's go down another little side road just for a second. With any embroidery machine, the Baby Lock lineup, you do not need software to run that machine. But software does add a little something extra. In software, I can take any design and I can really blow it up to do multiple hoopings. I can go ahead then and send those off wirelessly to the machine. So there's a Christmas tree built in the software. Let me show you what I did. I sent it wirelessly and I split it into 2 different parts. So here it is. So there's that Christmas tree set into 2 parts. I'll embroider the one part. There's how it looks in the hoop. And then I'll go ahead, after I do that, I'm going to rehoop and stitch the second part down here. And it's going to overlap that top part by just a little bit. I'm going to have to rehoop it pretty good. But remember that feature I showed you where we use those crosshairs to perfectly align that one design? Do you think that might come in handy when I'm doing the other part of my Christmas tree or the center of my tablecloth? So that's pretty rockin'. Comes with software. Don't have to have it to run the machine, but you can do some pretty fantastic stuff. You can have a hoop, probably as big of a shower curtain if you want to do that. Now there's another quick little thing I want to mention in software, now that I'm thinking about it, is if you're going to use the machine professionally, in software there's a feature called Link, and your computer with the software running can link up to the machine. The machine is wireless. If I had more than one machine and I'm doing these machines, using these machines professionally, I can link up to 10 machines to the computer. Now why is that a big deal? Well, the machine can be controlled by the computer to send jobs to the machine. And that name job feature, well, I can bring in a spreadsheet. I can have all of Santa's reindeer listed. I can do a stocking for each. And the computer's going to automatically digitize and send those names off to the embroidery machine so I don't accidentally go ahead and stitch Vixen twice, because I could get confused. Great feature to think about if you're thinking about multiple machines and using your machine professionally. Or you just do a lot of embroidery. I know some of you have a lot of grandkids out there and they all might need their own embroidered stocking. So, thank you for sharing some time with me today. I hope you agree the Baby Lock Array, it can do some pretty amazing stuff. I need to go ahead and do my holiday tablecloth, and I really think that center needs that big wreath. I'm going to send it off to George while I contemplate, I think I better get busy.
Thanks, Kathy. That was an incredible presentation. The Baby Lock Array offers the right combination of performance and technology. Now, because it has that open arm, you can embroider almost anything from bags to hats to backpacks to sleeves, all kinds of items that you can't embroider on a flatbed machine. But it also has such technology, including the ability to size your designs up to 200% or decrease them 70% and maintaining the same quality. Now, it has 6 needles that interchange very, very quickly, and it goes up to high speeds, over 1,000 stitches per minute. Its large, nearly 8 by 12 inch embroidery hoop gives you beautiful embroidery of all types, as well as you can even send designs via Wi-Fi to the machine. You have 50 built-in fonts with the ability to arc and array and customize, plus some very, very large monograms that are so beautiful. My favorite feature is that crosshair laser. I can simply draw a line or a crosshair on my garment and mark 2 points, and it automatically aligns it so that I have perfect embroidery every single time. Now, we have an incredible opportunity on this machine. The Baby Lock Array has a regular retail price of $14,999, but right now it is on sale for $11,999. We're offering interest-free payments of only $199.98 a month. That makes this very affordable. We're also including free shipping across the country. But right now also, as a special offer, we're including a bonus. This bonus includes 9 rolls of stabilizer, 10 5,000 meter spools of Floriani thread, 63 spools in virtually the rainbow colors. I have a box of bobbins, 10 packages of embroidery needles, plus 2 exclusive collections from Anita Good Design that has over 650 embroidery files, and a membership to Love and Knowledge where you can learn everything about the Baby Lock Array. This bonus has a value over $2,000, and it's included free with the purchase of the array while we have this in stock. Now, I mentioned that we have interest-free payments of $199.98 a month. If you're not wanting to finance this, I have even a better offer for you where we have even more bonus for you. So give us a call at 1-800-865-9664 or click on the link to order this machine. Bye for now.